Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's me, Nisi Denise, back to do another video reading. I am wanting to get through with Guy Anderson's book, Tesla and the Cabbage Patch Kids, where we've discussed the fall of Tartary. Shout out to Chief Red Wolf. He's been reading over on his live streams. And so I want to kind of get through this book so that we can start on a new reading over the lost teachings of Atlantis, the children of the law of one, also the raw material, Melchizedek, and also discussing the Torah and the Talmud. Okay, I have a bird right here, you guys, and this bird comes right here all the time. And this morning at 3 a.m., it was knocking on my window, so I got up and got my pistol. And I was calling my husband saying, hey, somebody's knocking on the back window. We really need to hurry up and pay this contractor so we can get this fence put up in the back. And he told me to calm down. And so, you know, I realized once I came out here, it was the flipping bird, you guys. The bird was tapping with its beak on my bedroom window. And yesterday he flew up here. He landed over here on the umbrella and he landed up here behind me. And it kind of freaked me out. And I think it's because there's no bird food over here. Like I need to get the bird seed and walk out in the yard with my garden shoes and put some more feed outside. The bird's been literally pecking at the window at like 3 o'clock in the morning because it wants something to eat. I shit you not. This is like the third time this week it's done that. And it's like freaking me out. Seriously. So without any further ado, let me get into the reading. We're on, we've got one more chapter to go after this. And if you recall, a few days ago, I was reading from chapter 15, Nikola Tesla. I started, going through his life and explaining the different trials and periods that he went through. And then also the inventions and the patents that came about his rediscoveries. Because truly, what I'm going to tell you is the technology that we have today is from our ancient ancestors, from the civilizations before us. Okay. And so there's nothing new under the sun. Everything that's already been discovered has been discovered. It's just that based on the indoctrination and based on how things are ran within this dome, within the ice walls in the known lands, right? People are under the impression that these things are new, and they're really not. They're ancient. So without any further ado, let's get into the rest of this reading because it's imperative for us to get through this so that we can move on to other material. Okay. So, I'm just going to read this bottom part and then we're going to dive right into his discoveries, right? So upon his death, Tesla's room was almost immediately accessed by several key figures, including a renowned lockpicker and safecracker, John G. Trump, Donald Trump's uncle, and an employer of the Hotel New Yorker, as well as associate of Tesla's called Bliss Fitzgerald. Okay. So these people raided his room, and then, of course, mysteriously, things came up missing. But here are some of the inventions that he was known for. So we're going to go through it. The Tesla coil, okay? The system consists of two parts, a primary and secondary coil, which was basically Tartarian technology, right? Both of which had known capacitors, which stores electrical energy like a battery. The primary coil is hooked up to a power source, okay, and from which it receives a massive charge. Now, this is that coil that he used to power the city that I was speaking of last time, and then also out in the middle of the desert, right, in Nevada. And this is when he got struck by the lightning from the coil, and he was said to have seen the future, the past, and the current all in one time frame. So when he was shocked with those thousands of bolts, it actually left a scar on his shoulder. And if his assistant hadn't have turned off the electricity to the coil, he wouldn't be with us. He wouldn't have invented the things that he invented, if that makes sense, right? So everything's by design, you guys. I'm telling you, everything is truly by design. I can't tell who's joining me, but hey, for whoever it is. Okay. So the Tesla coil, we talked about that. The Tesla turbine, inspired by the emergent success of the piston engine in the automobiles, Tesla decided to develop his own turbine style engine. All right. Also known as the boundary layer turbine and the cohesive turbine or type turbine, Tesla's turbine was distinct in its design. Unlike conventional turbines, Tesla design was bladeless instead of employing smooth discs rotating the chamber to generate movement. Okay. He also did the radio, if you guys didn't know. In the early 1895, Tesla was ready to send a radio signal 50 miles. Hey, can't tell who's joining me. From his lab at 33 to 35 South Avenue in Manhattan to West Point in New York. But disaster struck before his groundbreaking test could be completed. A building fire destroyed Tesla's lab. I don't think that was any coincidence, right? That was all I was all by design. I'm just going to tell you. And it says, taking his work with it. A year later, Marconi took out the first wireless telegraph patent in England. Okay. So then we have the magnifying transmitters, another one, the induction motor, the alternating current, AC, the hydroelectric power. And you know what? I might do like a little presentation on my laptop. I'm going to pull up some still photographs and some images of Niagara Falls, because I want to show you what it looked like before, right? Before they actually created the dam that they have today. There's actually a city and there's homes under there. And especially on the Canadian side, there's pictures, old pictures that most people don't even know about. Right. So when I'm telling you that there was a city and that there's actually a pyramid that they flooded near Niagara Falls to build what we have today, which I think it's just it's crazy. I was researching, and I'm not going to get off topic because we're going to finish this, but I was researching how many towns and cities were flooded here in the Americas once the settlers and the colonizers arrived here. What's crazy to me is that most people don't understand these big lakes that they take their boats out on and things like that were actually towns and cities of melanated people, look like you and I, you know. Hey, Andre. And it's quite disturbing to know that, you know, most people, they don't understand that this surface world that we live on is basically nothing but a graveyard. And I'm just going to be 100 with you. We're living on a graveyard right now. And no one even thinks about it. No one's even the wiser to that. But I may do something like that. I may pull up like the top 20 cities that I know, the top 20 cities and the top 20 lakes that surround, or the cities that surround the lakes, and give you the history on it. Because it's quite fascinating when you start to read it. You can see systematically how they went from location to location, and they unalived millions of autochthonous people here to get the land. It's always been about the land, you guys. Always has been. It's always been about the resources. It is. And we've assumed or assimilated properly based on the curriculum and the indoctrination received at birth from the time we're put in school up until now, you know, and our parents fell in line with that. Our grandparents did too. Our great-grands were the ones that were coming out of the stuff, and they were still seeing the wars and the fighting and the paper genocide and the reclassifying of us. But when you start to look at things for what they are, you see what they did, right? So my question is, how do you make a change so that our future generations won't have to go through that, right? It's, you know, everybody thinks they have an answer to it. They have an answer to the equation. You know, I don't have an answer. I can just tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to ascend. I mean, all this stuff here is immaterial because I know I'm an infinite being. And this is truly what's not supposed to be like it is now. We're supposed to live hundreds of years old, and we've been poisoned, and we're barely making it to 75 or 80. And, you know, my point of this is making these videos is to share some information that I find fascinating or interesting, and then pointing to what I think would be the best solution for all of us at this point is to ascend. Because once you ascend and you break free from this stuff doesn't matter to you anymore. It really doesn't, because you know you're moving on and you're leaving and you are ascending to a higher plane of consciousness or state of consciousness, if that makes sense, right? Because we're all infinite beings. Hey, how are you? Grand ascension to you, grand rising. So let's get back to this because we're almost done with this book, and I think it's a fascinating book. I'm gonna hold it up again for you guys. You're gonna get a screenshot of it. Guy Anderson is over in Great Britain, and he's been on a couple of podcasts that I've been listening to. Excellent, excellent research. And he did this during the time of the crown virus, the shut-in. So he utilized his time fairly well, I would say. I mean, he's probably been studying this a lot longer, but he put this information together, and it's brilliantly put together. I like it, the format of it. So Tesla did a lot of things. So he had a lot of patents. The hydroelectric power was one of them, okay? The shadow graph, neon lights, the Tesla valve, okay? And then here it says, Tesla's life outside of the laboratory was also quite interesting, and here are a few interesting facts about him, okay? He was never married, nor did he have any romantic relationships during his 86 years. Don't tell me the man died a virgin, y'all. I don't know. I'm just saying. All right. It says he was never married. Okay. So then it says he chose to remain celibate his entire life. Oh my God. I just answered my own question. I'm going to read that one more time, Andre. He chose to remain celibate his entire life. 86 years and he never got laid. All right. That's a hell of a guy. I'm going to tell you. He only slept for 3 hours a night. Did y'all know that? He believed in the existence of extraterrestrial life. Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely. I do too. He had a strange fascination with pearls. Okay. His only flaw appears to have been his lack of business acumen, but perhaps he just had a little too much faith in human nature. One thing is for certain, if Nikola Tesla existed and created these inventions, he single-handedly changed. He was avoided a lot of issues. Yeah, you know what? He actually did. 86 years and never got laid. I love it. I love it. And he only slept 3 hours a night. And of course, he was mulatto. He's melanated. He was biracial. Okay. He was one of us. Yeah, he avoided a lot of problems, but in the end, you see how things fared out. They murdered him. Mysteriously ended up dying in his room. No, somebody killed him. Somebody unalived him. I'm just telling you. He had haters. He really did. And I mean, he didn't have female haters. He had male haters. So it says his work consumed him. Yeah, I believe so. And I know belief is a lack of knowledge and knowing. I'm basing this because I haven't deep dived into his life or anything. I'm just reading what a guy wrote. And I would say, yeah, as an analysis of reading this, yeah, he was more focused on his work and he left behind a legacy. Okay. That we're all utilizing today, but he really just rediscovered the technology that was already here. That's what he did. And I apologize if you guys if I'm speaking a little loud because there's crows in my back. I'm telling you, I got a bird haven back here. I didn't realize it. I think all the birds are pissed because we haven't put any food out for the last couple of days. We've been feeding the populace and now they're angry. That's why I got this little bird that comes. He might fly in on camera behind me. You'll see him in a second. It's crazy. So then it says, if Nikola Tesla existed and created these inventions, he single-handedly changed the course of history and life as we know it. Yeah, he did. Without the AC without the AC, the planet would be a lot darker than it is today. That's for certain. And he says, however, I offer to wonder if the parasites created him as a fictional character, thus providing with the backstory for the slow release of Tartarian and old world technology. No, I have a picture of him in the office. Into the public realm so that's what they did. He's hypothesizing that they created this fictional character so that they could release the Tartarian old world technology. I don't think so. I actually know that he did exist. And I think they utilized him and they took what he had and, kept it for them and utilized it for their benefit, releasing it over a period of time. I think that's really what happened. I mean, because it's evidence in everything that you see now, what's going on, right? I mean, they're doing it now. The technology that we have now is It's nothing compared to what we used to have. People are thinking we're so advanced, but we're really not. We've fallen in consciousness, and we've fallen in a lot of understanding, knowledge, and the technology. I'm just telling you. And they're using it against us, right? Previously, it was used for our benefit, for healing and for information and to being connected to the planet and to have a higher understanding and to help us grow consciously. Golly, these birds are scaring the crap out of me. But now it's used to enslave us. And so that's just my own hypothesis based on what you see now, what's transpiring now. So then it says, either that or was the grains we know, or was this the genius we know and love, reverse engineering the Antiquitech? If it is the latter, then how did he manage to get a hold of it? Okay. The reason for questioning Tesla's invention of the AC and the Tesla coil is that many buildings mentioned within this book oh my God. I'm fascinated by the birds, you guys. I'm sorry. You guys ever seen that movie? Is it called The Birds? Where all these like thousands of birds show up and they like start attacking cities of people. I've got a whole freaking nest of birds out here. I just not realized how many birds are in these trees, and they're all staring at me while I'm reading on camera. It's crazy. I'm not going to be scared. It might be a good thing. It might be the energy that I'm bringing outside, right? I'm just saying. They're crying now because they know I'm out here. So I'm going to have to go feed them when I get done. Wish me luck, right? Isn't it when they say that bird poops on you, it's good luck? Just saying. Might happen when I go out there to the tree. So then it says, how did he, Alfred Hitchcock? Yes, the birds. Exactly. Exactly. Do y'all hear them on camera? There's a woodpecker up there. Hey, bro. There's a woodpecker in the tree. The little crazy birds flying around. I'm telling you, I love it out here. It's insane. Yes, it's the birds. Yeah, it's loud. But they're singing right now. You hear the crows? So anyway, let me finish this last part because we're almost done. I'm so excited. Yes, the birds, they eat everything. Yeah, they do eat everything. Yeah, they took the corn from the squirrel too. So the birds and the squirrels are fighting for the food out here. And then to kick it off, when I let my chihuahuas out, the little fat one, Mimi, she runs straight to the squirrels and she punks the squirrels, and the squirrels have dropped the corn on the ground, and she's running around like ha 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 ha. So it's funny. I love you too, bro. So then let's see. Where it says here, so how did he get his hands on the technology? That's a good question. So he says the many of the buildings mentioned within this book and within the groups like mine on Facebook, and he does have a group on Facebook, show the very same antennas, the coils, the capacitors perched on top of and supporting photographs and evidence on top of the buildings, right? The same technology or the transmission of wireless electricity and harnessing energy from the ether is said to go far back from the pyramids, which were here in the Americas, right? But what do you think? I mean, I really, truly, and it's not even a belief. It's like I've studied it enough and I'm able to look up buildings and pictures, and I might repost some pictures over here on Facebook in the next coming days of some old buildings, and I'm going to show you on the rooftops what they look like with the free energy devices attached to them. I'm telling you, you guys, we're not supposed to be paying for electricity. Electricity is free. The reason why we're paying for it is because it's making them money, right? It is old world technology. Yeah, we're making them money, right? And that's all it is. It's about the fiat. It's about them having the control over the masses. Like I've said before, there's 13 bloodline families, and actually there's more. But for the sake of the video, there's a group of families that control everything. And they're above the government. They're above all of the world governments. They're above the Vatican. They're up there because they're quote unquote descendants of these non-human entities, which you want to call the fallen. Some people call them the watchers. They're demigods. Okay. and they're family members. They're passed down through lineage. Everything is about, yeah. But the funny thing is, and funny meaning ironic, is the money is worthless. They're just printing it in air because it's not backed by anything. And so they came over here and they took the land from us, and they took the resources, and they took all of the gold, and they hoarded them for themselves. I'm just telling you, it's a brilliant plan. When you see it, when you actually map it out and you see it for what it is on paper, or when you start to put puzzle pieces together in a map and you see what they did it they absolutely flawlessly the way they've done it, because they've got the majority of people. My bird's back. It's right up here above my head. They have the majority of people duped. They have the majority of people duped in thinking that this is all that there is, and that, we have to work and we have to pay bills. That's why I'm studying contractual law now. That's why I'm studying commerce. I'm studying business, because I truly know that we don't have to live the way that we do, right? We don't have to. And like Lord Rothschild said, quote unquote, he calls himself a Lord. He's not. We will own nothing and be happy. Right now, when we work, we don't own anything. Car, house, anything. You got it. You think you got it paid for in cash? No. You don't pay the taxes. You don't own shit. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. It goes much deeper than what anyone could ever imagine. And I find it fascinating because they didn't think of this stuff by themselves. They had help, right? They had help from non-human entities from beyond the ice wall, and the ones that are underground. And they're just waiting for us to actually wake up and rise up. But the crazy thing is, they've done so much programming, the chemicals, the frequencies, the stuff that's in our food, the jabs that people take. It's affected people's brains. It's affected how they think, and it's affected them energetically and spiritually. So we, as autonomous beings, autonomous ones, we are a remnant of what we used to be. Right. And when people, other races look at us, and this is no hate, my light skinned brothers and sisters, because we have a ton of y'all in my family and our family. It's the way they look at us, as though, oh, look at them. They will never be what they once were, because we are non-ether beings. We are. We charge our bodies in the sun. We need the sunlight. This is why they work so hard to block the sun with the clouds and the chemical spraying and all the poisons and toxins in the soil, in the air that we breathe. I'm just telling you, they have a brilliant plan. They put it into place flawlessly. But our race is a shadow of what we once were. And that's why they look at us the way they do, because number one, we're running around here calling ourselves something that we're not. We're not black. Black, if you look it up in a law dictionary, because I posted it online before, Black's Law Dictionary in here in my office, it says dead. It's a dead thing. So when you call yourself black, you're being derogatory. You're not black. You're telling people that you're dead. And then if you look at the other breakdown, or the vocabulary of it, or the meaning of it behind it, it also means pale, and it also means bleak or void and absence of color. So truly, when you look at the words and how they've been utilized against us, everybody's under a spell, and nobody understands that. Nobody gets it. That words have power. Words have weight. So when I see our family members calling themselves black girl magic, black chick this, black don't crack, black, you're speaking words of you're continually keeping yourself in a spell. But not only that, you are limiting yourself, and you are keeping yourself in a low vibration by utilizing those words. It's not a good thing to say that you're black. That's actually very derogatory. And up until the 60s, is when they started to do this whole black power thing. But before that, you would call us black and we would fight you and slit your throat. I'm just telling you. So, I mean, we've come a long way from where we used to be. And it's kind of really sad to see that our race is like that, because you have a lot of men dressing up in high heels, being women. And then you've got women who are pushing the feminist movement and who are emasculating men, talking down on so-called quote unquote black men. I mean, talking trash about them. Kevin Samuels was right about everything he said. And if you actually look at the research with Kevin Samuels, he actually started talking about melanated men first. He was on the authoritative men's ass for the longest time. But when he flipped the script and started talking about women, that's when so-called quote unquote black women had a problem with it. So I don't identify myself as black. And for those women who do identify themselves as black, yeah, they're dead. They're dead spiritually on the inside. They're dead. They're literally just a corpse walking around. That's what you're telling us. That's what you're telling people. You're in mourning. That's why I don't say good morning, because you're in mourning. You're dead. You call yourself black and you say good morning. You're mourning your death. You are dead. You're walking around dead. You have and then you go into these churches and you go in there praying and hooping and hollering, and you don't even know who you're praying to. Because if you research who really runs this planet, you would get far away from the things that you think you know. You would walk in the opposite direction. That's why I'm sharing this information, because I find it fascinating. A lot of people won't be able to get it. Like my husband tells me, only a small people are going to get what you're saying. Don't get upset when people don't understand what you're saying. And I don't. I'm passionate about it, but I find it interesting, because if I can figure this shit out, then how come everybody else can't figure it out? Is it because they don't care? I mean, is it truly because they don't care? Or is it because they're so, I know what it is. They're so focused in their dream, because this is a dream, really, literally. This is not really real. This is not the real. I mean, we're in these bodies because we're having an experience, but we're all one big consciousness, and people don't understand that. It just blows my mind that the most basic stuff people cannot grasp. So once we finish this book, which we got one more chapter and I'm going to get back to reading. We finish this book. We are going to deep dive into the teachings of Atlantis, and we're going to talk about breath work. Yeah, they're focused on, well, they're not living though. They're not living. People think they're going out to bars and going out to cafes and art galleries and to the beach and to take vacations and the casinos and cruises. That's not living. That's what you think that's living. That's not living. If you study the ancient texts and you look at how our people used to be, we never did those things. We didn't. And don't say, oh, it's because of the sign of the times. It's because we were stripped from what we knew. And then we were brought up in a system of lies and a perversion. This is a perversion that we live in. And the only way that you're going to ascend or to break free from this is you've got to let go of everything you've ever been taught. And you've got to walk a different path. And most people can't do that. We need to have a place to live and food. The focus is misplaced. You do, but you don't. You do, but you don't. If we actually would come together like we're supposed to, we wouldn't be battling the things that we're going through as a society. And, most people don't understand that. Yeah, you do need a place to sleep. But did you know that ancients didn't eat? Up until the 1700s, 1800s is when we really started to actually eat and consume. We ate fruits and vegetables, but then when they came here, we started eating meat. Before that, we didn't used to eat. And that's proven. That's in text. That's an ancient text. We would get our nourishment from the chi or the prana. And that's the truth. When we did eat and we did partake, it was during special occasions, special events like weddings, ceremonies, things like that we would do celebrations for. But if you study the text, you'll see that some of the apostles ate and some of them did not. And it is possible for you to survive without eating. Now, am I going to try it? I'll do the fasting, yeah. But as far as completely cutting out food, it's going to be fruits and vegetables, nuts and legumes and things like that. I'm eating fish right now as meat, fish and seafood. But once I let that go, it's just going to be fruits and vegetables. But the fastest way to get to where you want to be spiritually is to fast. And that means liquid. And then at a certain period, like Alex did, when he got to so many days in, I think it was like week 3, he was almost at the 40-day mark when he didn't eat. He wasn't drinking or eating anything, and I was really worried about him. But when you do that fast and you do it to that degree, you really got to have somebody there watching and making sure that you're okay. What I did do was make sure that he had minerals, and he took these liquid minerals. So he wasn't per se eating, and at the point he stopped drinking, but I insisted that he kept taking the minerals. So he would put drops on his tongue and I would give it to him. But he got to a point where you get to a point where you fast, you don't want anything at all. You don't want liquids, you don't want anything. And I mean, you don't sleep either. I mean, you meditate and you pray, but it seemed like to me he got more energy in the end when he started. When he did when he broke through at 40 days, he could have went probably 60 days. He could have went well into 90 days fasting, but he stopped, and it was really because of me, because I was urging him. I was encouraging him, but at a certain point I got scared, right? And that was my ignorance for me not knowing and not studying and understanding certain things, right? But I mean, he did it. And I mean, we all can do it, but we have to put our minds to it, right? So, for me, it's like, I can tell you that when I don't eat, I have clarity. Like, I recall certain things, and my memory's sharper, my focus is sharper, and I'm not sluggish either. And I don't feel bloated. So like, I've gotten to a point now where I eat once a day and I feel okay. And typically my once a meal is in the lunchtime around noon, between 11:30 and 1. And then after that, it's water and liquids and things like that. If I decide to eat at night, I don't sleep good. I don't sleep well. If I eat after 4 o'clock, you can hang it up. I won't get any sleep that night. So for me, I'm just speaking for me not eating in the body. Yeah, the body does change, but you're actually you actually get a new body every 7 years. You regenerate stem cells, you regenerate tissue, muscle, everything. So every 7 years, you do get a new body. You don't have the same hair, you don't have the same teeth, you don't have the same eyes, the liver, everything regenerates. And it's a beautiful thing, but we're not taught to take care of our bodies, and we're not taught to do certain things. So if you don't have the knowledge, you don't know, right? You don't know, right? So that's why I'm just sharing interesting things, because I find it fascinating. And I don't know, maybe somebody will research some more stuff, and add to it, right? Because we're all on this journey of learning and knowledge. So for me, it's like, knowledge should be free. Everybody wants to charge for this or that and the other. I'm not about that. I'm seriously about sharing information that I find, oh yeah, I have a new body that I don't know. Yeah, but you can change it though. Like when we were kids, we went to the dojo, and then you would make me run. Right? You would get behind me and hit me in my back and in my butt. You would make me run fast. I was like, 12 when we were training? And I mean, the shit you did, when I'd jump off the school bus and I had to run for my life, and there was a safe space in the house, you used to fight, and you would come this close in front of my face with those nunchucks. Andre, this is my brother, by the way. Andre, dairy me, Andre. This is my big brother. Yeah, I'm what? Yeah. And I mean, you used to really, the things that you used to do when you were younger, jumping fences, I mean, exercising, and you did all those things when you were younger. And I mean, you still have the capability of doing it now, just like I do, right? I'm just doing it at a different speed. I do have a full, Derry Andre said, nice to meet you. You see his thing in the chat. I'm just doing it at a different pace, right? So my thing is, now that I'm 56, I'm almost 60, I'm finally understanding and seeing things for what they are. Not everybody's going to have my perception, true enough, but at the same time, like I said, information should be shared amongst us, because this is what we did back then with the different tribes that we have, right? Andre, have you started your genealogy? If you haven't, I will send you a guy's phone number. I went to 3 different people, and I've done 2 trees. I have to finish the other family trees. And I did find our names on the Dawes rolls. So you really need to start your genealogy if you haven't done so. It can be expensive, because I went to several different people. And I finally found someone that I can work with. And, he's been excellent so far. So we'll see how far or how much time it will take for him to get through my other trees. But my point of telling you this is that, excuse me, I've proven on paper that our family was here way before the Reconstruction of the Americas, way before the 1700s and the 1776 and all that shit. And the fall of Tartary was right around 1723, 1728, when the last mud flood happened. So our family, yes, okay, good, you're in the 1800s. So go back a little bit further, because remember, I said the fall was in 1723, 1728. So if you can prove that your family was here before then we weren't brought over on slave ships. Like I said, the history was told to us in reverse. We were taken from these lands and shuffled all around everywhere else in the world, right? And most people still don't understand that. So where did I leave off at? Because let's finish this last chapter. We're almost done. We're almost done with the book, because we're going to get to the last part, which is the reset, which is what I want to bring home. My family isn't from Africa. We were here. My fourth great grandma was Native. Love you. I'm on the move. Okay. Bye, bro. She was, yeah. And did you find out what tribe she's in, Andre? You probably, I need to probably email you that. I think I have it on my newer laptop. What you need to do is, on TikTok, we friends on TikTok or whatever, or here on Messenger, just send me hey cousin, send me a Facebook message, your email, and I'm going to send you, the PDF for the Dawes Rose, so you can look up your family name. Like I know, I found Slaughter, Beard, Wheatley's actually English, but Wheatley, and it was a couple of other names in my Brown. Oh God, I can't think of all the names. It's like 6 names that I found on there within the Dawes Rolls. So that proves out that our families are tied to this land, because we are original people from this land. So I want to send you that so you can look it up, because once you look at look up your surname, then that's how you'll see it. And then that's where you'll start to go back, and that'll help you when you do your genealogy, right? So this last part on Tesla. Now, I'm sorry I got out track, you guys, for whoever comes along and sees this video later on. I just started talking. I'm just talking off the cuff, and it's not scripted. So, all right. So the last part where we talked about how he got the technology, because we know this is old world technology. 0 point free energy was used during ancient times with the Egyptians with the pyramids, right? Hey, Grand Rising, how are you, cousin? Yeah, it was used during the times of the pyramids. And if you look at these pyramid structures, all their mounds and structures, we have more in the Americas than anywhere else, because ancient Egypt was here. And I'm not even going to go into that, but I'll just say it was here. Okay. And you got to do your research. So he said, Tesla's death will remain shrouded in mystery, as well as the story of what happened to his files and the stage in this book. You're probably suspecting foul play. With this in mind, you might find what happened to several scientists that followed in Tesla's footsteps very interesting. You're never off track because of the information is connected. Oh, thank you, Andre. I know. You know what I'm going to do? I am going to do a map on my wall in my office, and I'm going to show you the lands beyond the ice walls and what they look like, because I ordered a map from Claudio. And then once I get that, I'm going to lay in like key topics, and then I'm going to show you where they all are interconnected, because I think it's fascinating. Anything you research, you'll dive down the rabbit hole, and you will see that everything is connected. And it's actually it just blows my mind, because it's right there in front of our faces, but nobody actually sees it. So it says, first is Dr. Stephen Marvano, who was the leader of the European free energy movement and worked extensively on free energy and the perpetual motion, who allegedly committed suicide in 1997 by jumping off University of Graz When the dots connect, it's awesome. Yeah, it is. So Tesla mysteriously ended up dead. This guy mysteriously jumps off a building, right? That doesn't sound right. And that was in the University of Graz. However, then when only one realizes one witness that remains nameless. Moreover, the area of the asphalt where he landed reminded luminescence of the 3 days afterwards. It remained luminescence after 3 days afterwards, yet no trace of blood or bodily fluids were found. There was no suicide note left. No hint that he was planning to take his own life. Okay. And then it says, next is Dr. John Mullen, a nuclear physicist, okay, that used to work for McDowell Douglas and a specialist in free energy. So anybody tied to this energy stuff always mysteriously dies. I'm just saying. Okay. And it says Mullen was found dead at his home in Lewis County, having been poisoned by arsenic. It took the coroner 5 months to determine the cause of death, and the finger was pointed immediately at his girlfriend, Tamara. Well, however, just a few months later, she was also found dead, having recently left a voice message on one of Mullen's son's phones stating, "Don't be surprised if you find my body floating in your dad's swimming pool." Then there is the story of Dmitry Petrov, another person, who invented a patent for plasma battery that powered his home for 14 months. Okay. Invented a battery that powered his home 14 months, so he wasn't tied into the grid, so you already know what's happened. So this was yet another device that had the capability to cripple the fossil fuel industry and sent shockwaves through the scientific community. Just imagine a car fitted with the plasma battery would have the capability to run for literally thousands of miles on one single charge. However, in 2010, just a few weeks after perfecting his invention, he walked into his favorite coffee shop and pastry shop and was never seen again. Petrov's sister Anne said that he had been acting strangely ever since a visit from an official from the Russian Science Academy. And then there's Zachary Warfeld. He is yet another scientist that died under mysterious circumstances, who was a former NASA engineer, and he was killed in 2011 in a boating accident in Washington, D.C., shortly after creating a plasma battery. And then Eugene Maldov. Man, I got so many people that done stuff. I don't even know if I have time to read all these pages. Eugene Maldov. In 2004, he created He created a prototype of free energy device. And in 2004, the day before he was due to make a public announcement, he was beaten to death. They didn't say who it was. Ari de Seuss actually managed to patent a free energy device, which was based on the 0-point field. But in 2007, when he was about to go on a flight to meet investors, he was found dead in his car at the airport. How many people we done read? Like 6? Okay, here's another person. Roy Johnson created a cold fusion laser activated magnetic motor that generated over 500 horsepower. He actually planned a public demonstration of 4 vehicles, each equipped with a magnetron motor, so the U.S. Department of Energy placed a restraining order on him. This prevented the publication of his findings, and though Johnson was in excellent health, he died unexpectedly shortly thereafter. Clearly, they murdered the scientist. Oh, yeah, clearly. I'm sure. Yeah. And then it's Martin Tamoyan, an American electrical engineer and inventor. He invented the electrodynamic field generator. Say that really fast with a drink. Electrodyno field generator, common patent technology called the star drive, which in use uses 0-point energy, very similar to the ARV, alien reproduction vehicles, that everybody's been seeing the Tic Tac videos, right, on Fox News and on CNN. Oh my God, these birds are really they're coming closer in now, you guys, the birds are. It's crazy. All right. So then this part, he says in 2009, he developed a working prototype. And unfortunately, shortly after, he died from unexpected cardiac event, and his research is still missing today. Finally, here's one last one. Stan Myers was developing a working engine that ran on water in 1997. He died from what was officially reported as a cerebral hemorrhage. This happened while having lunch with two potential investors. His last words were, "I was poisoned." So it says, the series of rather unpleasant and coincidental events begs a question on who would want to stop these scientists from getting their inventions into the public arena. Who would be willing to stoop this low and go to the extent of murdering people just to prevent us from benefiting from free energy? Well, that takes us to the next and final chapter of the book, The Reset. Although by now we're unlikely to be under any illusion as to who and why we're doing this. So we've got one more chapter to read, chapter 16, which is The Reset. All right. And then we are done with Guy Anderson's book. We finished Claudio's book a couple of days ago. And on chapter 16, I am going to break it down because it's about 8 to 9 pages. And so I want to make sure that we take our time and we go through it. He's got contributors in the back of this book, and I may do some research on this. Now, he says, several people have been kind enough to share vital information with me, which has been used within this book. Most have contacted me through the Facebook group, Tesla and the Cabbage Patch Kids, and some have emailed me too. And then these are the people. So if you guys have time, go check out this Facebook group, Tesla and the Cabbage Patch Kids. Okay. Also, there's a Facebook group that's called the Tartarian. It's either Tartarian Empire or Tartary Unlocked or Tartary Discovered. There's a couple of Facebook pages out there that I follow, and then I'm in the group, and I would highly recommend you guys to check it out. Like I said, over the next couple of days, I'm going to be posting a lot of pictures over some of the buildings and over the roofs, so you can see the Tartarian, the architecture, the structure, and then what it looks like with the free energy devices on top. If you remember, several weeks ago, I was telling you guys that Turkmenistan actually had 0 point energy up until 2012. 2012 is when they started using the grid, so to speak. But before then, they utilized free energy. And most people didn't even know that. I didn't know that until I started reading his information and found that out and went to go do some research on my own. So, and it's very difficult to get into Turkmenistan. You literally have if you do get approved to go into the country and to visit, you have an escort the whole entire time you're there. They do not leave you alone. Holy crap, you guys. I have about 12 birds in the tree up there. I am not going to be putting any bird food out anytime soon. Wait till my husband gets home. At least if I'm out there, I can take a broom and swat them if they come down, which I don't think they will. They're actually listening to me talk to you guys. So I think it's kind of neat to have nature around us, though. But I won't let the chihuahuas come out because these crows out here are pretty big. They're actually bigger than my chihuahuas. So who knows? They might try to swoop down and take them off. I know that we have hawks that are out here too. So, but anyway, I appreciate you guys joining me. I'm sorry I was so long-winded about this. So we finished up chapter 15 over Nikola Tesla. They came for the food. Yeah, I know. And there's none out there. Like literally, if I flip the camera around, you can see both of their houses are empty. And I have the food. I'm being lazy. I haven't gone out there and done it. And right now, I don't think I will. Although, it's kind of cool out. Like it's 72 degrees right now. It's a breeze that's blowing. You can see I've got the curtains and the blinds down. I don't know what the temperature is going to be like today. I think it's supposed to rain today and tomorrow. So if I put some food out now, hopefully it won't get wet later. You know what I mean? But I don't even think they'll care if it's wet or not. They're still going to eat, right? So anyway, I appreciate you guys joining me. Thank you so much. Andre, I'm so glad you stuck around and listened to me talk about Nikola Tesla. I guess the key takeaways from this chapter is there are a lot of inventors for free energy that have come out unalived. Anytime somebody comes out with something, they want to kill it. And my thing is that they have the technology. We've had it for a long time. And the only reason why they won't release it is because they won't have any control over it. And they don't want to risk losing control. And I think that if they did, they would usher in another reset. That's just my hypothesis based on the information that I've read and that I've studied, right? So anyway, I hope you guys have an amazing day. And remember what I always say, be the change you want to see all around this Earth Dome, because it's up to you and I to make a positive change. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, Andre.